Hello, everybody. Hello. I am Jermaine Archer. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where y'all tuning in from. I want to thank everybody for joining us for this special conversation with my friends, my Rehabilitation Through the Arts alumni, aka RTA, and stars of our recent film. I'm your host, Jermaine Archer. I'm also the new executive director of RTA. I'm also a proud alumnus of the program from the flagship, Sing Sing. Y'all know what it is. And me being named executive director of RTA is like a full circle moment for me. So I'm honored to be leading this life changing organization. Many of y'all know that Sing Sing is based on RTA's theater program, which was launched at Sing Sing Correctional Facility in 1996. Over the past 29 years, we provided theater, music, dance, and other arts-based workshops, visual arts, creative writings to thousands of incarcerated men and women. We transform lives. We break in the cycle of incarceration. We got proven results. Less than 3% of RTA members go back to prison, compared to New York State, 19%, compared to the national recidivism rate, 60%. We're looking to expand the program and impact more lives. Right now, we operate our workshops at 10 correctional facilities in New York State, one facility in California. And RTA's mission is just to utilize the transformational power of the arts. We're trying to help incarcerated people develop critical like skills so they can become their best self. We don't create actors, we just help people become their best self. And we do this with the deeply held approach that's based on human dignity rather than punishment. I got to give a shout out to the Sing Sing filmmakers and the producers, Greg Quidar, Clint Bentley, Monique Walton, and everybody who poured their heart and soul into the making of that film, Sing Sing, including the 12 men who were cast in the film and are alumni of the RTA program. The film cast, the crew, just like we know productions always require a crew. I'm giving a shout out to everybody. And if you give a shout out to somebody in the chat, if you joined us tonight, show the guests some love. We're gonna start this evening off with a conversation, and at the end we'll take a few questions, a little Q&A section in the Zoom. So in the meantime, as we talk, if you're inspired to ask something, drop your questions in the chat. They'll get it to us. I know a lot of y'all here to meet Clarence Mlin, my brother, and Dino Johnson. As fate would have it, theater, like the menu, is always subject to change. Clarence was called to do a film shoot. He was supposed to be filming this afternoon. They changed that to this evening. So as they say in RTA, we're gonna trust the process and keep on going. And we also got a great feeling for him. We hope he's able to stop by for a few minutes. But if he can't, then we ask him to record a special message for us tonight. Right now, Hector's gonna give you a clip, and then we're gonna get right into it.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Clarence Divine I. Macklin, a stone representative of RTA. Really appreciate you coming out tonight, man. I really appreciate this turnout, man. I really appreciate that our message is being felt the way it is. You know, RTA means the world to me. It's life-changing for me. It changed the trajectory of my life, and it gave me a purpose, a reason to show other brothers that they can do it too, sisters that they can do it too. I may be one of one, but I'm not unique, or I'm not special in the way that others can't be who I am right now, can't find themselves within madness, surrounded by madness. This is what this program gave me the ability to do, to find myself and love myself. I hope you continue to support this program, man. I hope you continue to be a part of it. I hope that, you know, not only are you pouring into it, but I hope some of the things that we express finds its way inside you. I hope you can experience this life-changing program the way I have. So, again, thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for the support of rehabilitation through the arts, for understanding the importance of what arts really mean. Love y'all. Stay RT'd up, man, and trust the process.
Love that. That's my brother right there. Very nice. And we're going to trust the process. And we're going to thank everybody in the audience for your understanding and for this last minute change in our meet and greet. But we asked another RTA alumni cast member, also another Sing Sing film cast member, to step in for Clarence tonight, Dario Pena. So, everybody, let's welcome Dario Pena and Dino Johnson to this conversation. Now I want to talk about, this film is fictional. It's not 100% like accurate, but it's real. The RTA programming is real. Anybody that was in Sing Sing know 85% of what you saw in that film was actually real events. The three of us are living, breathing results of the power of the arts in this program. So I want to start off with you, Dino. I want to take a trip down memory lane with this clip because people know you for Sing Sing, but they don't know how long you've been RTA. They don't know that you've been doing this way before the whole world got to see you. Your first acting gigs on the stage at Sing Sing in Reading the Fine Print, the RTA production that was by none other than RTA alumni Devon G, who was played by Coleman Domingo in the film. So Hector, do us a favor and roll that clip, man.
If I sign this contract, this will merge my studio with yours, and this would give me access to $2 million worth of state-of-the-art recording equipment?
Yes, that's right.
And you see, I'll still have full control over my studio and fully own it. Kind of like forming an alliance, huh?
That's right. Look, man, this is an offer that only a fool would refuse. You're a rising star, Zabar. That name definitely fits your setup. You got the talent. We got the money.
Yeah. Big Wigs is definitely holding a major paper. What I don't see is what y'all see in me, though.
Look, man, we're wise enough to know, man. It's in our best interest to help you nurture your knack for producing platinum quality groups. Wise businessmen know a winner when we see one.
I'm glad y'all recognize it. I'm going to take this contract home for a few days, look it over. Got mad stuff up in this piece I ain't too familiar with. Like this stuff at the bottom here. I can't even read this shit.
Look, I understand your concerns, but like I said earlier, our parent company needs someone signed out by the end of the day. Now that someone could be you.
Now y'all got to see young
Wow.
Dino right there, man. That's young Dino,
Wow.
man. Dino, drop a fire, drop a heart, drop something in the chat if you appreciate seeing young
Oh,
Dino, man. Dino, give
wow.
us a little background on your journey with the RTA, man. The impact, what you up to now besides starring in that
You
Oscar-nominated
know,
film. Talk to us.
as a founding member, you know, when we first began RTA, we had no idea that it would take off the way it did. We had no idea the population would receive it the way it did. We had no idea the administration would receive it the way they did. And it was an amazing journey just from the beginnings. We started with nothing and we ended up with full set designs by years, and it was amazing. But when I first got involved with RTA, I was an introvert. I didn't talk much. I didn't say anything. Never held conversations with anyone. I just looked. And when we all came together, as in a prison population, we click up, and you had all different groups that was there in the beginning. You had your jazz musicians, you had the philosophers over here, you had the artists over there, you know what I'm saying? Had the LGBTQ community over there, you had the gangsters in another corner. And it was like everybody's looking at each other like, yo, what are we gonna do here? I don't mess with that one and this one. Within 3 months' time, we became a community, working together on set, finding out that some of us had certain strengths and some of us had other strengths, and coming together, it was so powerful. It was so moving. And that was my first experience of community in prison.
Nice. Appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. That's real. I remember seeing young Dino, man. We definitely appreciate you, man. We gonna get Pena up in this conversation too, because Pena, you was a cast member of the original RTA production, Breaking the Mummy's Code, that the film Sing Sing is based on. That film, that play was written by Brent Buell in a few days. Me and you was locked up together. We did RTA together. We were steering committee together. We were steering committee together. We came in one way and we went out another way. We both saw our transformation and our change. So my question to you is going to be like, why RTA and what did it do for you?
Oh man. RTA for me was the catalyst to all the positive change in my life. Right. So prior to joining RTA, I was in the yard. That's it. That was my whole trajectory in prison. I'm in the yard, and we all know that being in the yard always leads to trouble, right? And we always get caught up in something if you're in the yard. So one of the old school guys from RTA, Coco, who both you and Dino know,
Hmm.
he had walked up to me one day and he asked me in the yard, he said, what do you like to do? And I'm looking at him funny because I didn't know. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? And he's like, well, you look out of place in this yard. I said, I look out of place. I said, I just decided to engage him and I was like, all right, I'm into I do graphic art. I write poetry, I write short stories. He said, yeah, if I could connect you to a writing program in the school building. And mind you, I've never been in the school building at this point. I was in the prison for about 6 months. He says, would you go? I said, sure, I'll give it a try. And I went over to RTA. That's when he introduced me to RTA. So at the time, I believe Brent was in there and he was doing a some type of acting workshop, or they were preparing for the a production, which one was it, Dino? Was it Poetry in Motion? I think it was Poetry.
The
Yeah,
no,
that's it.
that was the beginning. That was way in the
Well, this
beginning.
is 2001,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
remake.
yeah. That was something like maybe a night of theater or something like that.
Reality in Motion, I
Oh
think it
Reality
was
of
no,
called.
Motion. Yeah.
no,
Reality.
Reality in Motion was actually the beginning, the first one.
Oh,
Reality
okay.
in Motion.
So
It's
that
96.
was my first joint. That was my first.
Okay.
That was in 2001, but or 2002 rather. But anyway, when I walked into the room, I felt out of place at first. I didn't know anybody in there. There was a lot of hostile looks. you know, and I didn't get along with that officer Jenkins that was working in the school building. But needless to say, he chased me out of there, and I didn't come back for a while. But for some reason, Brent he took a particular interest in me, and I had individuals coming up to me. I believe it was you, Dino, and Divine G, asking me to come back. And when I went back, I just started participating in the program, and I was given a role without doing any acting workshops or anything. I was given a role in that Reality Emotion. Remember, I played God. That was my
Mhm,
very first role. So I
mhm.
was placed on a scaffold. I had a big long sheet that went to the
Hmm.
floor. I looked, I was about 15 feet tall, and that was my very first role. And I remember it was particularly powerful for me because when we were performing, some thunder went off outside while
Ah.
I was judging. Uh, I was judging two Italian gangsters. That was the big guy. What was his name? The big guy with the bald head. Uh,
Cicerello?
Torello. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Judging him, and then this thunder goes off, and somebody said, "Oh, even God approves you playing him." You know what I mean? That was it. I was that. I called the acting bug after that, and I just stuck with RTA for the better part of about 17 years. You know, and
Nice.
as a result of my participation in RTA, I was introduced to a bunch of volunteer programs like PACE, parenting, and a bunch of others. Then I got involved with Rising Hope, which was the beginning of my educational journey. Then Hudson Link, and then the NYTS Masters program. So RTA was the catalyst that actually pushed me in that direction, where I was able to leave the yard behind, and I was in the school building for the rest of my bid while I was in Sing Sing. So yeah, that's what RTA did for me. It kind of changed the whole trajectory of my time of the 25 years that I did in prison.
I appreciate that. And I was with you. We went through that together. We were class speakers together in CMP Rising
Oh
Hope,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
remember. So yeah, we went through some of that together. I got a question for both of y'all. Two questions. The first question is y'all in the movie. Have you watched the movie?
Absolutely.
Have you watched? Yeah, I gotta ask, have you? Because sometimes people in movies and they don't watch the movie, so I just want to make sure
Mhm.
you watched it. Because
Oh,
I'm when you in the movie and when you watch it, it's two different experience. So I want to know for each of you, what scene or moment in the film felt most authentic to your actual incarceration experience? Like, what scene in there did you most connect with? Like, yeah, I went through that. I remember that. And we can start with you, Pena, since Dino went first last time.
Yeah, I've seen the movie about 100 times already, and bunch of screenings and talkbacks. So most of the time, I'll just sit there and watch it. But the crazy part about it is that I'm not the type of person that gets emotional when I watch movies, but the movie it made me. I got it almost every single time. It got me. There was a couple of tears shed, and it was because everything in the film was so personal to me. I mean, almost everything that was in there was something that I've actually experienced within the program. So it was just to see it like that, objectively was just so powerful for me, and one of the things that really touched me was the scene with Mike when he's having a conversation with Divine G, and they're both in their cells, and then he passes away he dies from a brain aneurysm.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was particularly powerful for me and really touched me because it brought back the memories of Cuba. Cuba was the person that Mike portrayed, who was a member of RTA. He was really young, and he died of a brain aneurysm in the gym. And he was one of our RTA guys. He was like a real vibrant, spirited young man, and it brought back those memories, and truly that was like a great honor to remember him that way. So I've never thanked Divine G and Divine I for actually incorporating this character into the film, but it's definitely a great way to memorialize this individual, and what the program stood for, because he really loved the program, even though he didn't spend that much time involved in it before he passed away.
About you, Dino? I appreciate that. Good, great, great
I,
insight.
I would have to say every scene resonated with me. Every scene, because in the course of our incarceration, we've experienced so many things. You know what I mean? So many situations, so many different conversations, and over and over and over again. So, but my favorite scene is the ending when
Mm,
he's walking out.
mm.
And that scene resonates with me every day. I give thanks for that day to finally walk out of the hellhole. And
Absolutely.
it's that really that gets very sensitive with me, you know, the
Mhm.
appreciation of that day finally coming and knowing that everybody's number is going to play someday.
Yeah, except Mike. I think that's powerful for you to phrase it like that because Pena's talk about Mike, you talk about walking out. And I think every one of us can remember walking out of prison. We remember what the weather was like. We remember how long it took for them to process us to get out. So I remember that day like it was yesterday. I got a question for you, Dario. In the film Divine G, who is Coleman's character, he kind of reaches a breaking point. And I know you good enough to know you always were strong. You didn't really show too much. I didn't do too much time with Dino, but I was around you. And when Divine G or Coleman's character, the group comes around to help him. Can you talk about the power community as you experienced it in RTA, whether it's giving or receiving, like one of those moments that you actually connect with?
No, there were so many moments like that in the program with somebody, and I remember when Divine G had experienced that, and
Hmm.
other individuals in the program had experienced the death of a child. Like one of our RTA members. I'm not going to mention his name, but one of his, I believe it was his oldest son, had been murdered. And we all rallied around him. We all, showed, we comforted him. We talked to him. We spent time with him. And outside of that, I don't think he would have received that type of comforting, that type of camaraderie with other individuals. So this happened so often in the program that individuals kind of really became attached to everyone else in the program. No, despite all the differences that we had, right? Because we all know, everyone who on this call who's been in prison know that in prison everyone is divided, right? We are all divided by race, ethnic background, gang affiliation, sexual orientation, boroughs, neighborhood,
Hmm.
housing developments. There's so many divisions that keep people apart from one another. And in this program, we had, a medley of individuals from all these different communities, and we all became tight. We had individuals who were just openly gay, and they were tight. We were all tight in there. There was no discrimination. There was no pushing people away. We all supported one another through all our difficult situations in there, and there plenty of those arose throughout our time together throughout the year.
That was a fact. I want to jump in because Clarence jumped on. Divine I Bill, the guard jumped on. So I just want to acknowledge him. If you want to turn your camera on real quick, Divine, I would love to be able to ask you. I see his camera's off, so I'm not really sure. He's working right now, literally, like he's filming right now. He said he's gonna take a 10-minute break and try to tap in with us. If you're able to tap in, Clarence, turn on your camera. If not, we're gonna have to keep this moving right along. But we see you. We see you, brother. We definitely see you. Um, I did have a question. My question for Dino is like, how was it seeing the movie from the beginning? Like, you've been there a long time. What was it like to watch the movie and see everybody experience the movie? Like, how did that hit you?
You know, at first, I felt that people wouldn't understand or go over their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And only if you experienced it, you would understand. And I didn't think, society really cared about what what humanity looked like behind the wall. But when I went to Canada and we was at the film festival and we had that standing ovation for over 12 minutes,
Mm,
I said,
mm,
wow, they get it. You know
mm,
what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And that was such a good feeling in my heart, just to know they understood what we were trying to say. Because for so many years we felt like aliens, you know what I mean, with an experience that no one really could really identify with. But the fact that a regular individual, a regular human being, not incarcerated, also understood that plight, you know,
Nice.
that for
Nice.
me was so important.
Appreciate that. That's deep. I got a question for you, God. I got a question just for you. Somebody wants to know. I'm going into Q&A now because people want to hear from y'all. They don't want to hear from me. So, Divine Eye, was the term beloved created for the movie, or is it something that we called each other on the inside? And is it a term that you still use today? I don't know. I think,
The screen is frozen.
yeah, he's frozen. But we can come back. But any one of y'all could jump on that. The
I
term
could,
beloved.
well, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, that was something that we created within our community, that we didn't negative talk each other. You know what I'm saying? We left the
Mhm.
jailhouse politics outside, and it was like at one point we stopped using that word amongst the brothers, you know, and we called each other beloved, you know,
Mhm.
and that was so important because I think RTA was a catalyst to changing the language, changing how we dealt with one another in that community, and we always addressed the elephant in the room. We always spoke about the things that brothers didn't have the opportunity to talk about and digest, and RTA became that conscience of the community within behind that wall.
Fire, fire. Drop a fire in the chat for my brother. Drop a fire in the chat. Divine, now I see you now. You're in the building.
You can hear me? Can you hear
Yeah, I
me?
hear you
Yeah,
now.
we hear you.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
I'm
if you want to
driving.
touch.
I'm driving. I'm in the car. I'm gonna be at my spot in like 7 minutes, man.
Okay, okay. You working?
So I might be popping in and out. But
Okay,
how's
okay.
everybody, man? I had to make some time to come holler at the people, man.
Shout out to people, man. Show the people some love, man. Show the
That's
people
a
some love.
fact, man.
That's right, man. Always good to see you, brother. You drive, man. Eyes on the road, man.
I'm not
Tap
driving.
in.
Hey, listen, I'm not driving. I'm being driven.
Okay, well, let me
I'm
ask you a
Oscar
question, Dina.
nominated around
Being
here,
that
man.
you
I
out
don't
there
do a
in
whole lot of
Mississippi,
driving no more, man.
you out there in Mississippi shooting movies on top of movies, because everybody don't know you shooting the movie, and they called you to shoot another scene for another
Yeah, man. I
movie.
had to cameo in another movie. They making another movie in the town over from me, and they found out I was out here. So they made arrangements for me to cameo in their movie too.
So now I have to ask you a question, because you done did it all. You done did a lot. What is
Yeah.
one of your most proudest moments that you've accomplished since you've joined RTA?
Well, one of the most proudest moments that I accomplished while since I joined the RTA was manifested today. It manifested when my son came home from prison with a different
Drop a
trajectory.
flyer in the
My
chat. That's
son came
right.
home from prison this morning, and he want to be more like his dad now. You know what I
Nice.
mean? He tired of being like how I used to be. See, he can see that life has no real value. And I'm glad that I'm here making these strides and these steps to lead him in these footsteps right now that I'm doing.
Nice. Drop a fire. I saw that too this morning. Definitely congratulations. I learned the fact that he want to be you now, not you
Yeah,
then. Definitely
yeah.
appreciate that. I'm gonna ask all three of you a question. Somebody want to know what was your favorite play or musical, whether it's something you did or you didn't do.
My
Oh,
favorite play or musical? Oh man. I
Pena,
think
you can start.
Oedipus
Pena was
Rex. I
ready.
think for me it would be
Oh,
Oedipus
Oedipus
Rex.
Rex.
that's what I
Oedipus.
was about to say. Yeah,
Oedipus Rex,
yeah.
man.
That joint there was super special, man. Grandma directed that one. I
Yeah,
remember, I was playing the blind prophet, Tiresias, and Abel was playing Oedipus. And we had
yeah.
one scene where I was like kind of judging them, and we were just going in. It was like a heavy scene.
Heavy. I
Uh,
remember that scene. That was
yeah,
dope.
and we had Andre Cartier, AJ. He was the
Yeah.
musician. He plays a bass. So
Hmm.
we decided to add extra tension to the scene by just playing this note on his bass. He was like, doom, 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 doom. Grandma's very particular about her singing. So
Yeah.
she's an older lady, but she ran over there so fast in the blink of an eye. She was like, "What are you
Right.
doing?" Trust me, Grandma, I got this. Scene that intensified the scene so crazy that even the officers were like, "Yo, you had me mesmerized there." You know what I mean? You know,
Fire.
dudes in the
Yeah, that was
yard were putting us
dope.
over, talking about, "Yo, that scene was real powerful, man. That was great, man." And I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
So
Nice.
It was plays like that when I stopped being 96, 87, 997, I became Mr. Macklin to them.
Mm. Talk that talk. That's right. Talk that talk. All
Right.
right,
I'm
Dino,
Mr. Macklin today.
they're in agreement on their favorite play or musical. Dino, what's yours? Whether you acted in it or you watched it.
You talking about that RTA produced?
I mean, no, we just asking what was your
Anything.
All
favorite
right.
anything.
I say my favorite play. That this is going over you guys' heads, a little bit.
Okay.
The spook that sat behind the door.
We're going over who
How's
head?
that over who head? Who head
Yeah,
you went
over
over
who
just
head?
now?
talk about that. I don't know
Who
what you're
head
talking
you went
about.
over just now?
Who head?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you because that was my experience as young, right? Seeing a black lead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With such information that
Yeah.
it blew my mind. That's something that always stuck with me.
That's fire.
You
That's
know?
fire. When I came home, I joined philanthropy so I could be the door that the spook sat by. So it ain't go over my head. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a couple of more questions that's coming from the audience right now. And this is a good one I would like to hear. What are some of the best qualities you see in some of the teaching artists? And just preface that answer knowing that some of the teacher artists are on this screen right now.
Right. Some of the best qualities that we find in a teaching artist,
Yeah. And I'll
compassion.
answer it first. I felt
Oh,
like family. I felt like
you
Jermaine.
go right to
Now
the
y'all
front right
jump
there.
in.
Yeah, that was
Anybody can jump
definitely.
in.
I would say the empathy that they brought to us, the way they felt,
Mm.
they try to feel our pain so much. You know what I mean? You can pull right
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm good. I'm good right here. I'm good right here. The way they felt our pain, man. The way they brought that humane element from the outside. You know, a lot of brothers, whether they want to admit it or not, wasn't getting visits. You know, and those times that the volunteers spent with us, the time that the volunteers spent with us was precious, bro.
Absolutely.
You mean more precious than they could even imagine. Because that feeling didn't leave when you left. When you hit the door,
Love
the
it.
feeling didn't leave. We
Love that.
internalized it. And me myself, not only did I internalize it, I wanted to use those same qualities to express them to other people, to try to be more. I wanted to emulate the people that I admired, which was the volunteers, in the way they interacted with people.
I
You know
think
what I
they
mean? So
taught
I wanted
us.
to emulate that.
I think they taught us all how to give back, to be giving.
Right.
Because sometimes sitting in prison, we learn how to just stay to ourselves. We don't give, and when people pour into you, it then allows you to pour into others.
Yep. I mean, one of the questions that almost all the participants in RTA throughout the years used to ask is, why do you come in here? You know what I mean? We know how difficult it is for them to get into the prison. They get harassed by the guards.
Right.
They make it really difficult for them to come in. Plus, they all have their own lives to live, right? So they all have their own issues that they deal with. But yet they kept coming in over and over, week after week, and just sacrificing that time to be with us. And that was something that was just priceless. So a lot of individuals really committed themselves to the program because of the commitment that the volunteers gave to us.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's fire.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And we all lived it. We all know it.
Yeah,
So now I was with you.
some of
Go
them
ahead. Go
put their
ahead.
lives on hold. You know what I'm saying? To come in there and spend evenings with us.
Oh, we
Yeah.
know that. People spent birthdays and anniversaries in there with us. We
That's
definitely know that.
amazing.
Like, yeah, that was amazing. I always shout them out for that. And now I was with Devon now at the we had a art show at the Yonkers Public Library, and we walked out together, and these two young ladies went crazy. They saw a movie star. They was like, "Oh my God, I know you." So the question I would ask for any of y'all, and it don't have to be on that level, but has there been any surprising or remarkable like reactions, emotional, either to the film or to people that you encountered while you've been going on this journey, specifically in relation to you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I was at the Columbia Business School doing a screening, and Jomani Davis's assistant runs up to me, asks me for an autograph, and wants to take pictures. And he's like, "I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan." I was so embarrassed. I'm like, "Listen, I'm not a movie star. I'm just in a movie." You know what I mean? He's like,
Right.
"No, man. Yo, that movie was so great, man. Love you guys." And it was to me, I felt embarrassed. I was like, "Damn, you know, and he was on the mic at a certain point earlier, and he was like shouting the film out, shouting me out because I was the only one from the cast there, and that was one of those moments where I was like, wow, look at this.
Man, that's amazing, man. That feeling be amazing, man. It happened to me several times, man. Like, I'm in a room with a lot of people that I had the honor and the pleasure of watching growing up. Growing up, I'm watching these people on in movies, on TV, and then I'm in a room with them, right? And what's amazing is that they know who I am when I come in there. They call me
Mm.
from across the room, Clarence, like Lupita, like a lot of good people, Jane Fonda, Jamie Lee Curtis, these types, and this is right
Ariana
before
Grande.
Ariana Grande. Her moms love me. Her moms love me. This is crazy.
Yeah.
They like y'all feel safe when he's around because I don't get those weird vibes from you. Those type of compliments. Those type of things. And this just has expanded my outlook on people generally, man. Because I had met these people right before the fires happened in LA. So we at the Golden Globes having a good time, sipping, drinking, talking, meet. I'm just chilling with regular people. It's not movie stars anymore because now we done been in a few rooms together. So now we're a little familiar with one another. Now I get on a
Yeah.
plane, come back to New York. Before my plane land, I'm hearing that their homes are on fire.
Yeah.
Now they suffering, man.
That hit different.
So you
Yeah,
know what
that
I
hit
mean?
different.
and
Hit
and
different.
it hit different because I had just met you. We just had a great time, and it don't matter. I've heard people say, "Well, those are they rich and all that? They people." Listen, they people, bro. Pain hit the same way for the rich or the poor. Pain hit the
And it's
same.
it's it's crazy. I know Dino, you might want to tap in on that, but I just want to
Yeah.
point something out because they say they rich, we don't gotta care about them, and they say they incarcerated, we don't
We don't
gotta
gotta
care
care
about
about
them.
them.
So for you to make that connection is deep. I just want Dino, when you tap in on that question, also tap in on how you would say RTA changed the way you see the world around you. Like has this community changed the way you think we should see each other, treat each other, and how we look at society at large, building off what Divine I just brought up.
RTA has changed my entire aspect on life. RTA gave me skills that I will be utilizing for the rest of my life. RTA saved my life. The whole experience itself is so humbling. You know, coming back from the Oscars and I'm on the airplane, I'm on the flight, and all of a sudden everybody on the flight's just turning around looking at me and looking at the screen and like, because they watching the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
On the
and
plane.
and then no sooner than I get off the plane, I'm walking fast to my car. Hey, excuse me, how you doing? Sing, right? Yeah, sing. Like 3, 4 people running up to me. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all right. Some people coming over to me quietly. Hey, Sing Sing's one of my favorites,
Yeah.
and then you got people that shout, want to wave at you, want your autograph, and the whole experience is so humbling because I, that's not something that we do this for. We do it because it makes us feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that is the reward of touching so many lives. So that was just affirmation for me for saying that, wow, you're touching even more lives.
Right.
And that's something RTA has taught me that is important, to reach out to a further community, spread some good and some joy.
Facts.
So I wouldn't I couldn't be more proud.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing is, it also allows you and helps you to realize, how much more we all have in common than
Right.
differences. You see that firsthand in the program. We all get to explore another character, right? So we play these characters and we get to explore them and see what makes them tick, what their emotions are, what their feelings are, what the situations are, and we start to see that they correlate with us. You know what I mean? The
Right.
character. And then as we see as we go through this through these improv exercises, acting exercises, all these different things that we do in the program during workshops, we start to see that we have so many commonalities with one another,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
like helps you really respect the universality of the human condition, right?
Right.
I think
Fact.
that has helped us tweak our lives.
Yes, it has.
There was many times that I played a villain on stage in Sing Sing, and I sat in a corner one day and I'm saying to myself, damn, this guy got characteristics like I got. I don't like that, you know? And then I'm playing heroes and I'm like, I like those characteristics. And I make them a part of me. And it's like I'm picking and choosing how I want to shape myself. You know what I mean? And it's eye opening.
Yeah.
Because
That's basically the when in the inception of theater, when the idea of displaying stories on stage for a community to see. This is remember that there's no Wi-Fi, no television, no nothing. So you
That's
got
right.
everything. You got to get everything from this communal base right here, from this theater program or this theater or this production or whatever. But it was designed to show us that you're not the only one going through whatever you're going through. And there's
Mm-hmm.
many ways to address it. You may find a solution to something you're going through just by watching a production, a performance of somebody living somebody else's life, somebody going through somebody else's mistake or somebody else's victory or somebody else's challenges. These things are what the theater, in my opinion, was made for. To bring the community to one specific point, to get your news, to get your therapy. to get, you know, your insight, to get a view into life that the parallels in other people's lives that may correlate with you.
Absolutely. Artists are the only pure journalists in history. Like they tell the truth the way they see it. I want to thank all three of y'all because y'all my brothers. Dino, you paved the way. You came way before me. Divine,
Founding member.
I took your place on the steering committee. We sat and talked in your cell the night before you went home. Remember that? Pena, you and I been through the mud together from CMP all the way through to Columbia. You one of the first people I saw when I came out. It shows that RTA is a real community. So I want to thank y'all for sharing y'all experiences. It's a bunch of more questions. We're not going to get to them all, but we definitely appreciate the love and the interest. I love listening to the journey through RTA. I'm grateful to everybody in the audience that tuned in. And you heard it. The power of the arts breaks the cycle of reincarceration. I feel like the arts matter. We empower each other in prison to discover our own potentials. We rebuild our lives and we make a positive impact in our communities. As Divine talked about, son came home from prison today, and his son wants to be like him today. He doesn't. He
Right.
wants to be like who he is, and that's a big thing because a lot of our children, when they hear horror stories about us, they want to live up to that. Um, I'm just hoping everybody will continue supporting our mission. Like, if you can
Yeah,
make a contribution
I wish
through
I
the
could have been
QR
on
code.
board a little earlier, man, but you know,
Nah, bro, you
circumstances,
made your presence.
situations.
You always make your presence felt, beloved. Beloved. You
Beloved,
always make your presence felt,
you already know,
beloved.
beloved.
But if anybody here support the mission, we do what we do because we love doing it. Under this present world that we live in, obviously, arts is the first thing to go. We know that funding, arts is gone. They feel like it's excessive, and it's not. Art is a necessity. You can make a contribution on the QR code, on the text on your screen, the chat box. There's links. That investment is going to drive transformative change. Please follow us on social media. Spread the word. Our handle is RTA_arts. And before we go, we got to make sure we get the final words from our great panelists, my brothers. So we're gonna let's start with Dino, and just tell me if anything you want to add about the support, about the importance of the arts and supporting RTA.
I just want to say the arts is the most powerful vehicle one can utilize to transform their life as well as others.
Beautiful.
Powerful, well said. Can't add to that. I mean, you could. We're gonna pass it on off to you, Pena.
Well, one thing that I want to leave everyone with is that Greg Quadar and Brent Buell were telling us about the all the guys who are current men and women who are currently incarcerated across the country who were able to watch the film for free because the company decided to stream it to 1,100 prisons across the country. And there's
Let
a
me shout out. Let me shout out to Dovo. Dovo did that. Let me shout them out. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Sorry
Dovo.
about that.
right, Dovo, and there's a platform where they've been giving feedback, and the feedback that's been coming from incarcerated individuals across the country, with everything from 2 years to life without parole, has been so impactful, so powerful it's just a testament to the power of this film.
Beautiful.
Powerful. Before you close, Divine, I want you to close, but I want to say on that note, Pena, we got a big manila envelope the other day from people incarcerated in Florida. An incarcerated dude challenged everybody to watch it on their tablet and then write letters of how it impacted them. He sent it to a professor at Columbia, and the professor sent it to us at RTA. Big stack of letters that Charles Moore has to answer. That's his job. He got to answer all them letters.
Yeah, that's the charge. He want to do
Divine,
it. He
last
can't wait. He
words.
can't wait.
He can't
What
wait. He
I
loving it.
Yeah, what I would like the people to take away from our message that we got to spread across the world with this powerful movie is that 90% of people in prison are coming home.
Mm.
Exactly how do you want them to be? Do you want somebody to come home who did nothing but kick a rock around the yard all day, every day, trying to find a meager way to survive and exist? Or do you want somebody that took the time to pour something into themselves, to consciously make a decision to be a better person? I believe the latter is the one we want to come home, and that's what RTA is preparing us to do. That's what the whole from the time I got into RTA, the mission has always been to better others because I'm a creator, and a creation is never for the creator. I created for everybody else to enjoy. It's not for
Mm,
me.
mm.
Every
I want to
piece of
shout
art I
out.
create is
I
for the
gotta
book.
shout all y'all out because this ain't all about acting. Like Divine I has been running successful steps for over
Yes.
12 years in Lincoln Hall since he came home. People think he came home and became an overnight movie star. Now he been
Hold
putting
up.
that work in. Dario Pena is helping people learn coding coming out of prison at Columbia University, doing so much more than that. I'm just gonna pick one thing out of each person. And Dino been running an organization that's helping youth change their lives for probably 20 years now, 15, something like that. And
21.
21, and I'm gonna reintroduce myself.
Beautiful.
I'm the executive director of RTA, so I ain't gotta say nothing else. We
Drop
doing
the
what we
mic.
supposed
You
to be
can drop
doing.
the mic,
Mic
baby.
drop. I'm on that note. I'm gonna thank everybody for joining y'all. I thank y'all for y'all support. I appreciate my brothers
Listen,
and my
man.
sisters. Beloved, thank you so much,
Love you,
man.
beloved. You know I'm gonna always make a way. You hear me?
I already know. You know, I already know. Pena, Dino,
Yeah, yeah.
Clarence,
Oh, man.
everybody that showed up.
Right.
Love is love. Thank y'all.
All
All
right,
right.
brothers.
Everybody have a great night and enjoy your weekend. Appreciate you.
You too.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.